Everybody. Welcome in. New edition of the Batter Up podcast, sponsored by the Dugout of Millwood here on the Sports City Network. Dan, Mark, Mike with you. Gentlemen, good morning. How are we?
Bright and sunny.
It is sunny. Take that, Philadelphia. It's not always sunny there.
Yeah, better. Still recovering from the Yankee game. That was a fun one on Saturday afternoon at Nats Park. So, um, glad to
I
have
can
it.
I can verify how happy this guy was. He called me right after it with barely any voice saying, "Oh, he was going nuts."
Hmm.
Nats bullpen's a national treasure for you, isn't it?
Hmm. And they used their better bullpen today. Like it wasn't like they used their shit show. They actually used their better arms. Yankees still got them. So there it is.
Yeah. Watching Washington this year, while they've been fun to watch, if they have an Achilles heel, it's the bullpen.
Yeah, and it you get if you're Blake Butera, like like how does that not frustrate you that you just don't have the reliable option?
Oh,
Um, it sucks, man.
it does blow. Yeah, nobody you could trust. As somebody who seen bullpens that you can't trust, it is one of the more frustrating things in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
But Blake Butera has a lot of experience behind him. Uh, he knows what he has there. That team can definitely be scary with a few additions in the right places.
Yeah.
Bullpen and an ace.
Yeah. Like ultimately, the Nats aren't quite there yet. The exciting part about this season is the fact that they're 500 and about to go into the All-Star break, whether it's a game over 500 or a game under 500, like they are going to go to the All-Star break having done a lot better than a lot of people thought they would do this year.
And I
And
think that's a theme going into the All-Star break, which we will talk about. Is there have been a lot of surprises
yeah.
this season.
Well, and look, you can credit this to basically baseball because you're now reinstilling the competition aspect of the game. Yes, of course, you, there is some form of tanking in all American sports. That's just how the American way of life is. There's not like Europe or any other place in the world where there's some type of promotion and relegation where you're rewarded for success and when you fail you are demoted and you fail you actually there's a reward for actually trying to win here over another side of the world, whereas in America these are such closed leagues that it doesn't really matter how good or bad you do, you're still going to be in the league, so there's no true reward for you know trying to win. So I'm glad that baseball is at least trying to reinstill the competitive aspect of the game. Because, even with the Rockies, the Rockies are not the greatest team, but they're way more competitive than they were last year, which is a breath of fresh air. Like these teams, you're professional ball players. Act like professional ball players. And that's exactly what the Nationals have done this year.
Have some bright. So we'll get into surprises. We have made it to the All-Star break. Today's the last day before the break. Then we get the Derby tomorrow. Get the game on Tuesday where you'll hear John Smoltz talk all about his golf game, probably. But I do want to start with this because we do have news regarding the game. So if you remember a couple of years ago, Rob Manfred did these legacy picks for the All-Star game
Mm.
where he put in Miguel Cabrera and Albert Pujols. He's doing it again for Tigers pitcher Justin Verlander, who has announced now that he is retiring at the end of the season.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
I mean, listen, I give Verlander a lot of credit because I think he wanted to be a 300 game winner. He's not going to get there, unfortunately. But Mark, you're talking about a three-time Cy Young Award winner, an MVP, and a true difference maker in his career.
First off, hats off to Verlander, on an amazing career. Got to watch him from the beginning all the way through now. Obviously watched him slowly build and become that ace that everybody dreamed about. And then when you paired him with anybody, it was a solid 1-2 punch. To me, I would have retired a few years ago, especially after the injury with the after his time with the Mets. But he stuck with it. You have to give the guy credit for his motivation. And I agree with Mike. I think the goal was to try to get to 300 wins, but it's just not going to happen. And this is not a career to blink on. This is a 5 and in Hall of Famer.
Yeah, it's like he's gonna be first ballot, and he has nothing else to really prove. Obviously, it would have been nice to have those big milestones, late in your career. Of course, you want that. Like, of course, you want records and all that stuff. But as long as Justin Verlander's at peace with what he has done in his career, he's a World Series champion. He's one of the greatest pitchers to ever come through Major League Baseball. All-Star, Cy Young, like all these great accolades that, a lot of pitchers would kill for. And he has a ton of them. If he's at peace with it, he's gonna be great. He's gonna be fine in the second half of his life, where he can spend with his wife and his family, and and like he doesn't have to be done with baseball entirely. Like, you can always reinvent yourself. A lot of players have done it, whether it's on the business side, whether it's on the media side. Please join the media side. We would love
Yes.
to. Um, a lot of former baseball players always find their way back to the game. How he's going to do that is totally up to him. And we would love nothing more than for him to still be a part of the game. And I know he would love to do that. So congrats to him on doing that. Congrats on being a Legends pick. You go into another All-Star game, which we love to see, and in a Tigers uniform, which I think is very important to him that he's doing this, he's making this decision while he's in a Tigers uniform, because you know how much it mattered to him that he wanted
Hmm.
to be in Detroit.
This feels like the end of an era kind of thing because we saw Clayton Kershaw retire at the end of last year. Now it's Verlander, and I think the two definitely intertwine with each other when you look at both were MVPs, both won multiple Cy Youngs, both were World Series champions. Obviously, Kershaw more at the end of his career than early in his career because we could have that postseason debate. But remember when Justin Verlander first came up and everyone was like, "Oh my!" He was the first guy to really throw 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. Nasty dude.
It was unreal. And then he kind of realized I don't need the 100. I could throw 95, 96, and if I need a little extra in my back pocket, I've got it. But what he did throughout his career, Dan, you mentioned it, like he goes to Houston and he completely changes the dynamic of the American League, helping them win the two World Series. I mean, Mark, we could talk about his small tenure as a Met, but it was just cool to see Justin Verlander in a New York Met uniform.
Absolutely agreed. That gave me a way to cross him off my list of players wanting to see play, and it gave me an opportunity to do that over time, throughout the season, not have to plan it out specifically.
And I think you guys nailed it. Like he's one of the best pitchers of all time and of his generation. And in 5 years, he'll be in Cooperstown taking his rightful place amongst the elite of the game. So I think a cool ending for him, I don't think it'll happen, would be that he does get, what if he got named the starting pitcher for the All-Star game? I'm not saying it's going to happen because I don't know if the Tigers have to activate him off the injured list for that or not, but
I think that would have to be the case. The same thing as with Mizorowski.
Yeah.
Mizorowski's not on the list. He's just not playing.
Yeah.
No, he's actually listed as IL day to day.
Right? He's
So
not pitching to. He's scratched from today's stuff, but he's not going. So.
Yeah, but he's not like on the injured list.
Yeah, he's not injured.
Well, just going by what, in other words, he's going to start the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Paul Skeens is pitching today. It
Yeah.
was going to be a trade-off. Which one of the, because they're facing off against each other, which one was going to get to start the All-Star game? It went to Mizorowski, and rumor is, as Paul Skeens has already done it, he agreed to pitch. So we might not see Paul Skeens pitch in the All-Star game,
Well,
obviously.
you won't if he's pitching today.
Right, I said, obviously, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you always come out of the pen if you want to, but like, like
You don't want to risk an injury to your face of your franchise. Currently, with the Pirates, it's a new face every 2 years. So
mhm.
All right. So again, congrats to Justin Verlander on what has been a fantastic career. But yeah, we got the All-Star game this week, Tuesday night. Derby tomorrow night. We'll get into the Derby in a few minutes, but I don't know about you guys, but I used to feel the baseball All-Star game was the best All-Star game of all the four major sports. Pro Bowl blew, or still does blow.
no,
The
the Pro
NBA
Bowl
All-Star
used.
game, they
Sorry,
don't play defense.
sorry, Mike. The Pro Bowl used to be good until Sean Taylor leveled. I don't even remember who it was
Brian
anymore.
Mormon.
Oh, thank you. Leveled them in the Pro Bowl. After that, it became more touch football.
Yeah, and then eventually whatever this crappy ass format is, where they're not even playing a game, they're just doing these stupid ass, dodge
Challenges.
like whatever it is that has nothing to do with football. Mike, I still think that the All-Star game for baseball is still the best of all the three. Um, I mean, basketball's a very close second. Like basketball, it's starting to become a little more competitive, a little more interesting. Um, but Billy, but I'm biased. Baseball is my favorite sport, so like I'm always gonna be biased towards baseball.
But my problem with the baseball All-Star game has become this, though. And I love the game. I love the effort the guys give. I'm tired of seeing guys opt out of the All-Star game. It's not, you know, listen, I get the pitchers who pitched the Sunday before they can't pitch. I totally understand. Mark, I saw you made a comment on something I wrote on X, and I'm going to address it now. Shohei Ohtani's not playing in the All-Star game because he has left knee irritation. Well, you know what irritates me? The fact that Shohei Ohtani's on the books for $2 million when he's making $700 million. You're telling me this guy can play 3 games against the Arizona Diamondbacks. It's not going to bother his knee, but he can't fly to Philadelphia to give the fans what they voted for. And I get it. The Dodgers have a bigger aspiration. They want to win their 3rd straight World Series. First time since the 90s Yankees. I totally get it. But right now, for players, and by the way, the league is also a culprit of this. I'll get into them in a second. At this moment, with a lockout looming, both the players and baseball itself are giving their fans the finger. When you opt out of this game because you are voted in and you don't participate, you are saying to the fans, I don't care. Now, baseball, I'm on to you now because you put the stupid derby on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan and I addressed this on Friday SIP.
And I apologize if I'm repeating anything.
No. It's good to have an extra point of view.
Yeah. Not everyone in America has Netflix. And by the way, if we remember earlier in the year, games on Netflix, they stunk.
Mm-hmm. And not the baseball play itself. It's the announcing.
Right.
It's who's leading the listen. I mean, look, it's the fact that you're making people pay to watch it now is a joke. Because the home run derby is something I look forward to every year. And if you've watched us on the network, for the last couple of years, we've gone live for the home run derby.
Yeah.
I love that this year's home run derby, and where Mike said we'll get into that in a minute, is actually going to be a real home run derby for the first time in a while. But this should be for everybody to sit down and watch, not for a company to gain subscribers. May it be for 7 days or not, but it should not force this type of action.
It's at a time when baseball didn't need this mess up, it messed up.
Yeah, it's literally, when you're talking about all this new media coverage and everything of the sport, it's saturated, man. Like it's just too much. We gotta go from one place to another, subscribe to this thing and that thing. This is not how sports should work. It should be very simple. You know, a lot of these countries still do pay TV or free TV. Sorry, not pay TV, free TV. Like, why not have it on free TV in America? Not saying it isn't on, but it's limited.
Yep.
For example, the Nationals, they only have 10 games this season on free over-the-air television. I think the Mets only have like 21 to 25 games on free over-the-air television. Like, what kind of crap is that? The Mets used to have like 40, 50 games on free over-the-air television. Heck, they had a whole season, before they went to cable.
Mm-hmm. You used to be able to watch the Mets on Channel 11 every night.
Channel 9 before that, Mark.
Yep. Channel 9 before that. Exactly. You know, Dan brings up a good point is that people who get basic cable and just that can't afford these extra things and rely on what they've relied on their entire life 2, 4, 5, 7, to show them what really is going on. And now it's taken away from them.
And it's just it's the world we're living in now
Yeah.
because everything is turning into the streaming services.
And I get it. Like it's the new way of the cord cutting, um, how everyone is consuming media, which is online. But you also have to understand that, you still have that crowd of people that don't care for online media, that don't care about those platforms. You still have to build for your audience that still can consume. People can buy an antenna and connect it to their TV and bounce around between the antenna and streaming. It's very possible. I'm living proof of it. Strange.
Well, it's just yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how the
It's all about
money
Yes.
and they have plenty of it too. So it's like, it's not going to be a total loss if they.
but the
Yeah.
people who lose out are the common folk.
Mm.
And that's what baseball needs is the common folk. Baseball has plenty of high level celebrities and then your mid-level people. You got to start addressing the part of this country that can't afford to go to a game. That's where the change needs to happen. How it's going to be done, I can't answer that. But that's something that needs to be addressed.
So again, Netflix is the Derby. I think Fox will have the game on Tuesday. So see
And
what happens.
and by the way, you're dead on about Shohei declining. Like,
Yeah, but by the
w-
way, he's not the only one.
no,
Vlad Jr. I get it. You're not having an all-star typical year. You were voted in. At least appear for me.
yeah, like
Yep.
show up.
Show up. I'm
You
not
know,
asking you to take it at bat. I'm asking you to show up.
And that's what it used to be like, and Dan can attest to this. You might not have been in the All-Star game, but you showed up at the Derby to cheer on your other
Yeah,
players.
like, come on, dude. Like Derek Jeter. You know what's so funny about Derek Jeter? That 98 season you were talking about possibly three-peating. You know, like Derek Jeter coming off a stunner the year before against the Cleveland Indians in 97, trying to get back to the World Series. Was at the All-Star game in 98. Like, show up for your fans. Sorry.
If you want to make the game for the fans, and the fans voted you in, listen, I get it. There's injuries. They're going to happen. You're sore. We're not going to sit here and say you're, making it up. But you show up and you show respect to the fans who voted you in, who, by the way, pay your freaking salary.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get that straight. You know why tickets are so expensive? Fly Jr., you signed a $400 million contract? I don't know the Canadian to American Shohei. I know you're
He's
on the
got a
books
lot
for
of loonies. A lot of loonies.
a lot of loonies. Shohei, I know you're on the books for two, but you're going to make $700 million. Again, I don't know it to yen, but let's go. again, and I understand the fact that the Dodgers have a bigger aspiration and goal, and they have like 25 people on the damn All Star team as it is.
Yeah.
But show up for the people. It's a sign of respect.
Hmm?
That's what it is. All right. I'll get off my soapbox. I might write about this later now because Mark got me going. All right. As we mentioned, we're on the last day. Well, technically, the first half's ended because every team's played about 100 games now,
Yep.
which I still don't understand how they make that point the All Star game, but it is what it is. The Cardinals, White Sox, Marlins. Dan, you brought up the Nats earlier. I'll throw it to you first. Of these teams, or if there's someone else you want to throw, who's the biggest surprise of the first half?
The Chicago White Sox South Side, baby. That's the biggest surprise for me because they're going basically from worst and could be in first in the division. Like, this is amazing to watch, dude. No, they are spunky. They are popping off a lot of power. They are fun. They're gritty. They are everything that you want to see in baseball. And like I said about the Nationals, for the first time in a long time, it's competitive baseball. These are professional players. And I get it. Like, look, the maybe the manager wasn't the greatest. Maybe the lineup wasn't the greatest, but they're still professional ball players. Can you show some type of competitiveness out there and play the game? Like, by far, the White Sox. Murakami before his injury was just absolutely phenomenal with the power. After that, after his injury, you saw other players show their power. The White Sox are great, man. Better than expected. The pitching has been solid. Still a couple things to clean up, but whatever. They'll get there eventually. Point is, though, the White Sox done a tremendous job.
By the way, speaking of the White Sox, how about Tristan Peters hitting for the cycle
Phenomenal.
Friday night? And then yesterday he gets added to the All Star team. Mark, for you?
Well, even though I have the same answer as Dan, I'm going to say another team just so we can talk about it. Let's talk about the St. Louis Cardinals. Okay. Last year, the Cardinals were not worth much talking about, and with the trades of Arenado and whatnot, we were expecting much more of a down year from St. Louis, but that's been the direct opposite. St. Louis with players such as, we just make it easy. Mason Wynn, Jordan Walker, and JJ Weatherall have been having great seasons right off the bat. I mean, Jordan Walker, 22 home runs. I mean, every year we've been waiting for this version of Jordan Walker over the last 3 years, and every time he's come up and started to go on that tear, something would happen, whether it would be an injury or he would just go cold or whatnot. No, this is the Jordan Walker we've all wanted to see and play, and you can't just hold it to the batting. I mean, their pitching is also having a great year. Look, I'm gonna butcher this guy's name, and it's not on purpose. Andre Palente. I mean, 10-6 on the year, 3.96 ERA, a little bit high, but this team is not a joke. Okay, Riley O'Brien has 24 saves in the first half. Well, it's no longer the first half, really. The first part of the season. So, yeah, you got this St. Louis team that's not bad, not good. They're great. And I think they're going to make a very good run with this young team. Make free agents want to flock there after the season.
And JJ Weatherall just got a new contract to buy
Yeah.
some arbitration years. So I mean, yeah. I'll talk about the Marlins then because up until this weekend when they ran into the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Marlins are fun. They are fun. They love to run. Xavier Edwards and Otto Lopez at the top of the lineup. And then they got this pitching staff, man. Sandy Alcantara's back to being Sandy Alcantara. Max Meyer has been awesome. He's an all-star. Yuri Perez will be an all-star at some point. They have a good top of the rotation. They run. And it would be really great. And it'd be a really good sign for the game if the Marlins went into the trade deadline, and we're about 3 weeks away from the deadline because I think they moved it to August 3rd this year, and the Marlins brought an impact bat. If they can do it in a National League that I think only has maybe 3 elite teams in it, the Marlins could shock the world. This will be 2003 all over again. Bring back Miggy. But we got some great stories
Yeah.
going on in the first half.
Well, I love how the Marlins were strong at the end of that first half of the season. And, you know, the fact that, the cohesion is there too. And we kind of sort of saw it at the end of last season too. It's not a fluke. They're playing their hearts out. So I'm more glad that Sandy Alcantara is, pitching his
Mhm.
ass off because he has been truly missed on that mound.
And he's been awesome.
He's been getting better every start. There's a little bit more to him that has changed.
Yeah.
It's been fun to watch. All right, so we got some first half questions. I'll throw to you guys if you guys want to throw one. Also, go for it. Uh, Dan, I'll start with you because we just did the biggest surprise of the first half. What about the biggest disappointment in the first half?
I was gonna say Dodgers, but they're on their winning ways again, so I can't say that.
I mean, they're like 15 up in the division too.
It's like, of course, every time I'm like, the Kyle Tucker actually sucks. You know, I can't ship the Dodgers now. So whatever. Um, if I'm being real, like the Mets are very disappointing. Like I really thought, not necessarily that they were going to be best team in baseball, because the National League is a tough, tough cookie. You have teams, great teams all around. But I did not expect the Mets to be well under 500 and last place in the National League East. That is very stunning to see. I expected like middle of the pack, dare I say maybe first place if everything really fell into place. You know, like at the very least, I thought they would be middle of the pack and competing for obviously for a wild card, given the circumstances with the Braves and the Phillies and all that stuff. So, it's been devastating to watch this Met team crumble every single night. Now, even Juan Soto is making mistakes in the outfield, dumb mental mistakes. Something that, and look, I'm not saying Juan Soto is the best defender out there, but like Now that he's making the dumb shit mental mistakes, it it really, really has got to tick you off. I will say this because there's always some type of, silver lining, positivity, whatever you want to call it. At least you have Ewing, Benj, Soto, those young guys, McClain. Again, Soto's much on the older side now, but still young enough to be a great presence in that lineup. You have something for the future, and you have a good farm system. Build on that, and maybe run it back again in 27.
Mark.
Again, Dan stole my answer. Like always, Dan is the smarter one.
I'll have to steal your answer. You keep talking about the Mets
You
too.
want to talk about the Mets? Go for it.
Like,
No. I'm going to take it from another perspective. I couldn't agree more with Dan that, my Mets are in the downtrodden toilet. But actually, a team that's actually disappointed in the San Diego Padres. This is a team that, yeah, you're in the same division as the Dodgers, and you are built to compete with the Dodgers. I mean, with this lineup with Bogart, Machado, Tatis, Merrill, Gavin Sheets is having a pretty awesome year, and Ty France, is why are they not winning games? Well, it's not because of the lineup. If you look at the pitching, you have to call it, the blame is here. And there's another team Dan just talked about perfectly with the big disappointment. It's not the Mets lineup that's the problem. It's the Mets don't have any pitching except Noah McLean is the only pitcher that has actually done anything of good for the Mets. On here, you look at it, and there are three players tied with 6 wins. It shouldn't be. There should be. Michael King should have double-digit wins already.
yeah, he's been rough to watch too. Like,
Yeah. Walker Bueller, it's already surpassed what I thought he was going to do. He's 5-5. I thought he was going to be at best 3-6 going into the term, but whatever. But there's not one pitcher here that you can say is the leader of this club. And that's what's holding San Diego back. San Diego, if it had a pitching staff and not traded away over the last 3 years, could be within a few games with the Dodgers. Mike, you've heard Dan and my aspect on it. Like you said, you wanted to throw it back to you. Who is your biggest disappointment?
There's a couple. I mean, those are really good answers. I don't want to talk about the Mets anymore because it makes me sad and angry because I think Steve Cohen should start paying us because we have to watch them on a daily basis.
At Steve Cohen at X, we do follow you.
I'm going to go a different direction. I'm going to go with the Royals after watching them this week at Citi Field.
Oh.
And the reason I'm going to say the Royals is this. Bobby Witt Jr. is a superstar. And we want to watch him on the biggest stage. Can we start spending some money on players around Bobby Witt Jr. to make this team in what is a very winnable AL Central? Can we start pulling pieces around them? I mean, I had to watch Seth Lugo and Michael Wacha for two of those games against the Mets. No disrespect to those guys, but Michael Wacha was a Met in 2020. Seth Lugo was a Met in 2020. And he was in the bullpen for Pete's sake. If you're the Royals, you have a superstar. Don't be the Angels and do stupid things when you have a superstar under contract for a long period of time. don't waste Bobby Witt Jr.'s prime years.
Mm.
And there's a lot we could have went into. Could have went deeper on the Mets. The Diamondbacks could have been ripped a little bit.
Yeah.
The Giants.
But here's why I'm not going to rip the Diamondbacks. I still think the division was tougher for them. Like,
No,
you
that's
know,
fair.
like it's a tough division, and they're still playing fairly well despite that. Like, it's not.
And they've had some injuries. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna. Corbin Burns hasn't made a start for them.
Yeah. Now the Giants more so because remember how Buster Posey was trying to clean
Mm-hmm.
up this lineup, and they're trying to be the next shit in the National League, and flop, massive flop.
Pick a direction, Buster. Do you want to win now, or do you want to have the college coach build the team?
Yeah.
You got to pick a lane here, pal. Or you go with the 6-7.
To a degree, I'm also gonna say the Mariners. Like, obviously, when you're going on a championship run like they did last season, they were a game away from the World Series. Like, the year after that, they're always going to be tough because, it's not like the Mariners were expected to get to that point. Like, they were facing a tough Blue Jays team. And you know that the American League is going to get better, even though they're much weaker, than the National League. But like to a degree, like I expected the Mariners to completely run the West, and they're not necessarily doing that. Astros are hanging around, the Rangers are kind of hanging around. Like you see them pop up here and there. It's like I expected a lot more of a wider gap for Seattle.
Give me 1 second. I'm pulling up the standings now for you. Yeah, the Mariners are a game and a half behind the Rangers in the AL West. And to that point, the Rangers are a game over 500, and they're winning a division. I mean, you could have said the Red Sox, but the Red Sox have now won 8 in a row out of nowhere.
Well, they beat the Mets. I mean,
Yeah.
those couple of games weren't out of nowhere.
And also
Yeah, well, guess what? They swept the White Sox in Chicago before that.
Those were good wins.
Yeah.
Listen,
the Mets
we can't
won.
penalize them for the schedule.
Yeah. I think the Red Sox are exactly where they should be, actually. I did expect a little bit better at the beginning of the season, but I also said they wouldn't make the playoffs.
I thought they might win the division. But,
I thought they might win the division.
Alex Cora, what's up, pal?
No offense to the Yankees.
Listen, no, we gotta stop saying no offense to the Yankees. We gotta start saying no offense to the Tampa Bay Rays because the Tampa Bay Rays, they're the first place team in the AL East.
Fair enough. No offense to the Rays. It's not because of lack of effort. It's not because of lack of talent. It's just lack of leadership.
And it's just because every freaking year we don't want to believe in the Rays and they just prove you wrong.
Right.
By the way, shout out the Rays. Retired Evan Longoria's number 3 yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes.
At the Trop.
He's in the Rays Hall of Fame as well, so he'll forever be.
Yes.
Oh,
Proud to say I got to watch him up in Dutchess County when he played for the Hudson Valley Renegades.
Yeah.
And high A, low A. The kid was a baby. And that just shows you how old I friggin' am.
Yeah. Yeah. No, shout out to Longoria.
Yes.
what a player. All right. Next question. Give me a team right now, and I will read off the list. Not in a current playoff spot that we believe will be in a playoff spot at the end of the year. So here's how I'll read off the division leaders, then we'll get into the wild card. In the AL East, the Rays are leading the division. The Central is actually a tie between the Guardians and the White Sox. and Texas is leading the West. In the National League, Braves, Brewers, Dodgers, which by the way, no one's catching the Dodgers because they're 15 games up. And then your three wild cards would be the Yankees, Guardians, and then the Mariners and Twins are tied for that last wild card in the AL. National League would be Cubs, Phillies, Marlins. So, guys, give me a team I didn't list that we think could come late September, October. You know what? That's the team that they're going to make a run here, and they're going to be dangerous come playoff time.
The American League, you're talking?
Either league, pick whoever you want.
That's a tough one.
It is a tough one, and I'm gonna I Mike, if you said it and it's my fault that I didn't hear you say it, but I'm gonna go with the Detroit Tigers. I don't
Nope,
remember.
they're not on my list, so go for
Okay.
it.
Detroit Tigers just got Tariq Skubal back, and here's the thing. They're 5.5 out in the Central. Is that catchable? Absolutely. 5.5 games is
2.5 in the wild card.
apologize. 5.5 in the division, 2.5 in the wild card. You now got your ace back, and the team is now starting to heat up. I said at the beginning of the season, this team scares me because of how good it can possibly be with Torkelson and Green. You got a good pitching staff. I think the All-Star break rest will help. And I don't think at this point in time, yes, they traded whatever to the Mets. That was just a low-level relief pitching trade. I don't see them moving Skubal now, even if the offer is above what they would be asking. I think they're going to try to make another run, and I think that's a team that's capable of doing it.
You know what's funny about the Tigers? If you're talking about below the wild card line, they're number 6 below the wild card line. And yet they're 2.5 games out of the last spot.
Right.
I'm telling you, if every single one of these American League teams right now are very much alive, even
Even
the
the Angels.
you know, the Angels can go on a massive run to start August, and all of a sudden, oh crap, well, we gotta worry about Anaheim. You know,
Angels are 20 under 500, and they're 9 out in the wild card.
That's
That's
unbelievable.
absurd.
it just goes to show you, like, the American League is wide open. Like, it is so bad to watch this baseball talent in the AL. Like, it's disgusting, dude. You know,
Uh,
yeah.
are you going to take the Tigers too, Dan? Or
No, I'm gonna take the Cardinals.
okay,
The Cardinals are right there. They're very competitive. Um, like I truly think that they're gonna be competitive enough. They'll edge out a team like the Marlins, maybe the Phillies, maybe not. I don't know. But like, they'll definitely edge out one of these wild card teams that are currently there right now. And um they're feisty, man. I think, Ali Marmol's done a tremendous job getting this team ready. They're ready every single night to play ball. So it wouldn't shock me if they make the playoffs. Like, I have them because of how spunky they are, because of how ready they are. Like, they are ready to go after it. The other NL teams, like, they scare me a little bit.
that's fair. Cardinals are right there. They're a game out in the wild card. I'm torn on one from each league, so I'll make the case for both. Um, one of them is a little bit of a cop out since they're literally right there. They're a half game. You should have just buried the Astros when you had the chance, American League.
It's
It's
disgusting.
insane that they're only a half game out with how bad they were early in the year. Jordan Alvarez, I don't care what happens. Uh, give him the AL MVP right now for what he's done. You got Altuve. Eventually, they'll get Pena back. Christian Walker this way. And then pitching wise, Hunter Brown, they'll get him back. If they can right the ship with Tatiatu Ime, that'd be really big for them. But here's the thing, I just won't bet against the Astros. They're too experienced, too talented, and they know how to get it done. And then actually, I'm going to actually talk about the team, Mark, you talked about as disappointment. Can San Diego Padres, can we do something here? Fernando Tatis, I mean, you're playing like me as you and MLB the Show with the lack of power here, man.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is batting 280, so you can't hold that against him.
No, but the power.
The power's gone.
I don't know what happened to him. You know, Machado's Machado, but he's in his mid-30s. I can't expect him to carry it. Jackson Merrill, can you step up? You brought up
Cronenworth.
I mean, Cronenworth feels like a lost cause for the last 3 years.
Been a great utility player for them, though.
And then, by the way, you brought up the pitching. Like, the strength of this team is the bullpen. We know the starting rotation ain't it. They got to go get themselves a guy for the top of this rotation. And I know a guy named Freddie Peralta. If you want him, come get him.
Fine. Fernando Tatis, straight up, one and done. We'll take on the money, no problem.
Listen, you want a blockbuster? I put it up on the site. I sent it to you. I don't know how you felt about it, but I sent it to you.
I saw it.
Check it out, sportsinsanitynetwork.com.
Yeah, I'll say this about Tatis. Maybe he needs to stay off the drugs.
Is Dan wrong though? Because let's no, I'm not. This is not an accusation, and I want to make that very, very clear. In no way that the Sports Insanity Network is accusing Fernando Tatis of steroids, PEDs, or anything. But anytime you have a player who's a multi-time 20-plus home run player, bats 260 or better, 80 to 100 RBIs, and 90 runs, and then throw in 20 stolen bases on average, all of a sudden the next year comes out, didn't have a home run for the first 30 games, and has 5. Is there another player in the league that this matches right now?
Like it's just fascinating how the power just suddenly disappeared.
Look at Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
You know,
Same thing. I'm not saying again, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. was on PEDs. We're not saying that, but you have to consider the mind thought, because I'm saying Dan's statement is, I'm sure we're not the only ones who have just said it. I'm sure it's been brought up all over. They stopped doing this and that, and they're losing this because they were going to get caught if they were. Is it possibly true?
sometimes I think players do it for the money. You know, they get theirs and then okay, I play baseball, you know. Not in like a Chris Bryant way. Chris Bryant actually is tailed off massively. You know, Vladdy G and you know Fernando, they have talent. They have power. They could play baseball without the power too. But it's just weird to me. It's just weird how they don't continue the thing that made them, which was the run producing power that they could bring to the lineup. Strange.
The Vladdy thing is weird. But I also look at it go, look at what he did last year in the playoffs. But it's just like the disappearance is just really weird. Tatis, it's again, yeah, weird is the word. Um, but I think in San Diego, it's just been a thing. Like Machado's not hitting for much power. Merrill's not hitting for much power. Padres offense is just not what we thought it would be. It's kind of offensive.
There's no morale in that team. There's no
But
look.
let me ask you this because I want to word this differently than if they miss the playoffs or if they get bounced out first round, wild card round, is it time to consider breaking it up?
Well, let's use the Mets as the perfect example for this. Everyone said when the Mets let Edwin Diaz, Pete Alonso, they traded Brandon Nimmo, and they let Jeff McNeil go, that after years the core didn't work, you had to break it up. A lot of us had to eat the sourness of it, and when it came down to it, all of us agreed that there was only one part of it we really didn't want to see go, and that was Alonso. Alonso, we wanted to be at first base. Can't change the past. Now, to throw it to Mike's side, you have a guaranteed lock with Machado for the next 5 years at least, Tatis for the next 6 to 8. Cronenworth had just signed a huge extension, and I know Merrill's got a small contract. Who becomes expendable here? If you're not going to the playoffs, you're not going to. After what the Mets did, you have to see what you can get. What can we get for Machado? What can we get for? Can we get something equally, if not better, for Tatis?
And let's not leave him out of this. Remember, they brought in Xander Bogarts
And,
too.
and exactly, you know, Bogarts when he was with Boston. I'm sorry, there wasn't a week that went by that his name didn't come up on Sports Center. Now it's just a name of the past because of where he is. San Diego Padres have to make a decision at this deadline. Either they're going to go with it with what they have, or they're going to try to improve, but to do so, they're going to have to give up a major piece. And to me, I think you have to move either Machado or Tatis to make a point. I think you can get anybody to play shortstop or third. You just got to replace the numbers. That's all. And it's not going to be done in a single year. So that's why Brett Brady for Machado makes so much sense.
And they're probably also going to have to, just to expand the point, trade off the major league roster just because they don't have a great farm system at the moment. They've
No,
traded. They don't have a farm system because they traded it all away.
look,
So
whatever the Padres do is it's on ownership. This is our opinion,
Mhm.
but they're the perfect example of a team that needs either a taser up the ass or break it up like a Kit Kat bar.
all right. So earlier this week, as we move along here, Pirates starter Jared Jones had a perfect game go. I think into the sixth or seventh inning. He gets pulled because he was coming off of some injury. But I mean, we've had this conversation in the past when it comes to no hitters. Perfect game. Really? We're pulling guys with perfect games now.
Like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
What are we doing, baseball?
Like,
Dan, go first on this one.
what are we doing? Like, what do you have, like 70 pitches, 60 pitches?
I got to find the game, but I'll look for it.
Like, come on now. Like, he was cruising. He was cruising, Mark.
I got the alert on ESPN that he was perfect through five, so I immediately went in to go take a look to watch what was going on because a perfect game now is like seeing a royal flush in
Like
the World
it's
Series of Poker.
so rare.
Exactly.
Like,
Eh,
come
If
on.
he had a no hitter, not let's say he's walked three already. If he had a no hitter, maybe I could understand he's coming off an injury. You don't want a perfect game has happened not 1,000 times and not just a handful of times. It's happened more than 10 times, but it's like seeing a shooting star. Let the kid, I understand he's coming back from injury. Let the kid pitch another inning. Let's see what happens if his velocity drops. If he's giving up more pitches because they're out of the strike zone, fine. He's tired, you're pulling him after injury. But don't pull him right away.
77, Dan.
At 77 pitches. If it was
Like,
97, maybe I would be more sympathetic to the cause.
By the way, that's after his first start where he threw 73. So you only let him throw four more pitches.
let him go, bro. Like, even if he loses the perfect game, let him go. Like, nothing's wrong with him. If he gave up a hit, nothing's wrong with him. It's baseball. Teams get hits. You know, like perfect games are so rare. You want to see the build up to that moment, even if he doesn't complete the perfect game, which is hard to do. Like, let the pitcher pitch, man. Like, let him go. Let him develop into that big time ball player. Like, that's what the fans want to see. The fans don't want to see this sabermetrics nonsense where we're going to pull a player because he's young and he isn't quite there yet. You know, it's dumb. It's the stupidest thing that I've ever seen in my life. You know, the numbers have completely ruined how managers manage the game. They're not managers anymore. They're spokespeople for the front office. You know,
Mhm.
And look, here's the other thing that these managers or front offices have to you have to have a gut feel. Like, listen, I understand the kid's coming off an injury. This would have been historic. By the way, the Pirates wound up losing the game after they pulled them.
yeah. I wonder why.
That's because karma comes around to bite you in the ass.
Karma chameleon always strikes.
Shout out Culture Club.
Yeah, I mean, it's just to me, we want to see the historical nature of it. You know, listen, we Mark and I could know this from the opposite end because we remember the Johan Santana no hitter, and Johan Santana was never the same after
In the
100,
hospital.
but that was
Yeah.
134 pitches.
And also a guy who is well past his prime.
Yeah.
So
Right.
let's remember that. Yeah, I mean, I compare the Johan. Sorry, Dan, I hate to do this. I compare the Johan Santana no hitter to the movie For the Love of the Game with Kevin Costner throwing a no hitter, perfect game at Yankee Stadium. That
For the
the
love of the
old
game.
picture, a great movie by the way, really a great movie all in all. But I'm saying sorry to Dan because it's a no hitter at Yankee Stadium, not something that is done often. So,
Yankees would never allow it.
but you know that I was in the hospital for that Johan Santana game. I was just coming out of surgery, so I wasn't allowed to cheer or go nuts. I was allowed to watch, but I had to keep calm because I was recovering from surgery. But I said Johan made my day. It made my surgery recovery better.
I mean, yeah. So see what happens, but yeah, that I was just not a good look for the Pirates, who also are hanging around in that wild card race. All right, so we've mentioned it all show. We get the All-Star Game Tuesday, which means the Home Run Derby is tomorrow night, and we have got a loaded Home Run Derby field in Philadelphia. The lineup looks like this.
Mike, before you get into the lineup,
Okay.
so the Dugout in Millwood, which sponsors the network, decided to have some fun with these guys. I'm letting each one of them, now mind you, there are only 5 of us, so I had to extend out more. Each one of them get to pick one player in the home run derby. Whoever picks the winner is getting an autographed baseball courtesy of the Dugout of Millwood. This is why we invite you to come and join and watch us to get on our list to know when we're going to be doing this thing so you can be part of these giveaways. Sorry, Mike, back over to you.
No, that's all good. But it's a loaded lineup for you in the Derby. We got Junior Caminero, who's been on a tear. Dan's guy, Ben Rice, who shockingly is not the founder of Uncle Ben's Rice.
No, Minute Rice.
Yeah, Wilson Contreras, Munataka Murakami, Jack Caglione,
Cags.
Jordan Walker, and then a couple of Phillies. We got Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper.
This is the best home run derby lineup I've seen since going back to when Griffey and McGuire would all participate. Yes, we've had a couple of years where we've had some couple of star players here and there. You know, Alonso did it a few years. There hasn't been a loaded lineup, even when Shohei was in that lineup with Alonso. It wasn't a loaded lineup. This is going to be an exciting, close matchup.
It is quite the field. Dan, thoughts on the Derby?
I love this Derby field, man. I'm glad that we have home run hitters. It's Derby field. Um, I'm glad that Kyle Schwarber, he had that little warm-up session in the All-Star game last season.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, and now he gets to do it for real. So that was cool. That's cool to see. Bryce Harper. Let's see if he gets number 2 here. Let's go. And of course my guy Ben Rice, um, so far ever since he, you know, decided to enter the home run derby. I think he's hit like 4 or 5 home runs since. Like he's a
I've
beast.
watched Aaron Judge hit a ball.
Yeah,
This ball, and I've seen the ball go distances, but the ball
mile.
explodes off Ben Rice's bat.
Yeah. Like even pop-ups are something that people worry about in any ballpark for Ben Rice.
Yeah,
He's
he is a diaper dandy.
he's a beast, man. No, I'm pumped for this field. Murakami's in it, which I'm happy to see. Actual home run hitters that people can actually be excited to watch. It's tremendous stuff. Thank God.
Dan just said it perfectly. Absolute home run hitters, not throwing a guy because of this or that or because the team is not represented. This is the first full clean home run lineup in a while, and I'm excited for it.
Oh, it's going to be stacked. Too bad it's on Netflix and not everyone can watch it.
Yeah. And of course, like I'm not gonna be able to watch it because I'm working. So it's not because I don't have Netflix. No, I have Netflix. I just won't be able to watch it because I'm working, which is bullshit.
All right, Mike, you'll text them every time one player. We'll make sure Dan gets flooded with like 800 texts during the time.
I got to be honest, I dumped Netflix a little while ago, so I may have to reorder. Or maybe fund a friend. But yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, we get the Derby, we get the game. Baseball returns Thursday night. For some reason, they're airing Mets Phillies on ESPN on Thursday night.
Well,
Why?
to be fair, no one expected the Mets to be where they are.
No, that's not the reason why I'm upset. I'm upset because it's ESPN. I don't want to have to deal with
Right.
Ravitch and Eduardo Perez and Oli talking crap the whole game. Maybe I'll just have it on mute and listen to
Mute.
the guy Howie Rose.
I mean, but Buster Olney is he's a great reporter, but he is atrocious on the broadcast.
There are guys who can write and are brilliant, but when you hear them talk in person, you can't believe what you're hearing compared to what you've read. It just some people are one way compared to another.
Yeah, so that'll be the first game back, but next weekend, Rays in Fenway for 4 with the Red Sox.
Ooh, baby.
Dan, Yankees Dodgers next weekend.
They're gonna get creamed.
And we are also waiting an update apparently on Aaron Judge because he's gonna have apparently his first MRI at some point during the break.
The re-imaging, for the like Mike said, for the first time since the injury. They're not expecting him to be obviously fully recovered. They just want to see if
Where
there's
he's at.
any healing. And
So we'll see what happens.
and then of course that will determine like the
Right.
next phase of his recovery.
White Sox, Blue Jays next weekend. Marlins, Brewers, Rangers, Braves, and Cardinals, D-backs in the Nolan Arenado Bowl. Actually, and Paul Goldschmidt.
At the side.
It's Goldschmidt, even though he's now a Yankee. Before we sign off, I want from all of us one bold prediction for the second half of the Major League Baseball season.
Detroit Tigers will regain control of the AL Central and win it by at least 4 games.
Okay. Dan?
Second half prediction. I'm gonna say James Wood goes for like 50 homers.
But is he? I know he's over 20. Is he at right now?
Right now, he's up there.
As I said, last I saw he was over 20. So
Right now, he's at 27.
what? He could do it.
I say James Wood hits 50 homers.
As Rob Schneider could say, you can do it.
Especially in that leadoff spot, he reminds me a lot of Schwarber in the leadoff spot, where he just cranks it every time.
But by the way, with his stance, you said Schwarber. I'm going another way. Like he's Otani because he's upright
Right.
and he just and that swing is violent.
Yeah. It's scary, dude.
All right. I'm gonna say because I still kind of have to believe it. I think the San Diego Padres go on a massive run in the second half, and they find their way into the playoffs. And by the way, I'm letting y'all know right now. I was very tempted to say it's going to be the Mets, but I know very much well it won't be the Mets.
No, I mean, look, I'm not the fair weather fan. I watched the Mets all the way through. I've been a Mets fan for over 40 years. I've been with the highs, I've been with the lows. I haven't done the highs the Mets have, but it just doesn't mean much. The Mets will always be my team. I'm going to support them no matter what.
Shout out David Putty from Seinfeld. You got to support the team. Shout out Seinfeld. Great show. All right. That'll do it for this edition of the Batter Up Podcast, sponsored by the Together Millet here on the network. Check us out every Sunday, 10 a.m. here on the SAN YouTube channel. Dan, I'm presuming you and Bill will be live tomorrow for SIP.
If he makes it out alive of his brother's bachelor party, like that's we're hoping that Billy Boy hasn't done too much this weekend.
So like, comment, subscribe here to the YouTube page. Go to the website, thesportsinsanitynetwork.com for great blogs, vlogs, plays, trades, and automobiles. Follow the socials. Facebook, the Sports Insanity Network, Twitter, S Insanity Real. Mark, you got anything from the dugout?
Now, the dugout doesn't have much coming up, but we want to thank our very good friends over at Hat Trick Breaks and Joe Knapp out in Iowa, along with JJ Sports and Hobby. Thank you for supporting the network. Eventually, soon, we're trying to work out a join for their wrestling pod to come on our wrestling pod. So look out for that in the near future. But Joe Knapp, thank you very much, and thank you to all over at Hat Trick Breaks.
Yeah. And of course, the subscribers to our channels, please, thank you. Thank you very much for the continued support of our network. And, as we wrap up MLB's first half of the season, even though we're way past the first half in terms of games, the traditional first half, I want to say thank you for watching this podcast. Like, it really means the world to us that we have consistent viewership of the show. So thank you.
See y'all next week. Enjoy the All-Star game.
Catch you on the flip side.
We'll